A retired black veteran was driving home when a racist cop pulled him over for no reason. What started as harassment escalated when the officer dumped his groceries on the street and mocked him in front of his neighbors. But when the truth came out, everything changed. The man he tried to humiliate was a Medal of Honor recipient, one of the most decorated veterans in the country. It was late afternoon in a small town in Georgia. The sun had dipped low, painting the streets gold. Marcus Turner drove his old but well-kept pickup down Main Street. At 63, he moved slower than before, but his mind was sharp, his posture upright. He wore a plain jacket and a cap with faded embroidery. The cap read, U.S. Army, retired. Marcus was a decorated veteran. He had served 3 tours overseas. He had medals tucked away at home, including one that only a handful of soldiers in history had received. But he didn't wear his achievements on his chest every day. He lived quietly. That evening, he was heading home from the grocery store, a bag of vegetables and bread in the passenger seat. Behind him, flashing blue lights cut through the fading daylight. Marcus sighed, pulled to the side, and set his hands on the wheel. The officer approached quickly. He was young, cocky, and full of power. His name was Officer Bradley. License and registration. Bradley barked, hand already resting on his gun. Marcus spoke calmly. It's in my glove box. I'm reaching slowly. Bradley narrowed his eyes. Why are you in this neighborhood? This isn't your area. Marcus paused. I live 3 blocks down. I've lived here for 20 years. Bradley smirked. Don't get smart with me. Step out of the vehicle. Marcus did as told, his hands raised slightly. Neighbors peeked through blinds as Bradley frisked him roughly on the side of the road. You fit the description of someone we're looking for, Bradley said, though he gave no details. Marcus looked him in the eye. Son, I've been fitting the description my entire life. Bradley sneered. Don't try to lecture me. You think you're some kind of hero? Marcus stayed silent. Bradley opened the truck door and spotted the grocery bag. He dumped it out onto the pavement. Apples rolled into the street. Bread hit the ground. Smuggling something? Hiding drugs. Bradley said loudly, glancing at the gathering neighbors. Marcus clenched his jaw, but stayed composed. You humiliate me in front of my community for groceries? He asked quietly. Bradley shoved him back toward the truck. Shut up. I'll decide what this is. By now, a small crowd had gathered, phones out, recording. An older neighbor stepped forward. Leave him alone. That's Mr. Turner. He's a veteran. He fought for this country. Bradley scoffed. Yeah, everyone claims they're a veteran these days. The officer grabbed Marcus by the arm, twisting it hard. Marcus winced, then spoke evenly. Officer, in my wallet, there's something you need to see. Bradley pulled the wallet out, flipping carelessly through. He stopped at a laminated card. His eyes skimmed it, then landed on a folded paper tucked in the back slot. He pulled it out. It was a worn official certificate. At the top, bold letters read, Medal of Honor. Bradley froze. The crowd gasped as Marcus raised his chin. That's mine, he said quietly. The officer's grip loosened, but his arrogance fought to stay alive. This doesn't mean anything. You think this makes you special? Marcus finally spoke with force. It means I bled for this country. It means I carry men on my back under fire, while bullets tore the sky apart. It means I survived when others didn't. And now, you point a gun at me for buying groceries. The crowd erupted with shouts. Phones filmed every second. Bradley stepped back, sweat dripping down his forehead. The air was heavy. Marcus stood tall, grocery bag torn on the ground, apples scattered. But his presence was unshaken. The truth was out, and the confrontation was only beginning. The crowd on Main Street grew louder. Neighbors yelled at Officer Bradley, demanding he let Marcus go. Phones caught every angle of the confrontation. Bradley's face twitched with panic. He had lost control of the scene. Back up. Bradley shouted at the onlookers, but his voice cracked. No one backed up. They stood their ground, chanting, Respect the veteran. Hands off Mr. Turner. Marcus bent down slowly, picked up his cap from the ground, and placed it back on his head. His hands trembled with restrained anger. "You owe me an apology," Marcus said firmly. Bradley's lips tightened. He didn't answer. Minutes later, more sirens wailed in the distance. 2 additional squad cars pulled up. The shift sergeant stepped out, older and calmer. His eyes swept over the tense crowd, then landed on Marcus. "Mr. Turner?" he asked, his voice filled with recognition. "Yes," Marcus said flatly. The sergeant turned sharply toward Bradley. "Do you know who you stopped?" Bradley puffed his chest. He fit a description. He was resisting. The sergeant's face hardened. "You fool. This man is a Medal of Honor recipient. He is one of the most decorated veterans this town has ever produced." The crowd roared, their anger boiling over. Bradley stuttered. "I didn't know." "That's the problem," Marcus interrupted, his voice cutting through the noise. "You never bothered to know. You saw a black man in a truck and decided I was guilty. That's all you needed." The sergeant ordered Bradley to stand down immediately. He walked to Marcus and said, "On behalf of this department, I'm sorry. This shouldn't have happened." But Marcus wasn't finished. "No, don't apologize to me alone. Apologize to them," he said, pointing to the neighbors, the children, the teenagers recording, because they're the ones who grow up seeing this. They're the ones learning that no matter what we give to this country, we're still treated like criminals. The silence that followed was heavy. Even the sergeant lowered his head. The videos hit the internet within hours. Millions watched a clip of Bradley dumping Marcus groceries and mocking him, only to freeze when confronted with a Medal of Honor certificate. Hashtags trended overnight. News outlets picked up the story. The town mayor held a press conference, calling Marcus Turner a hero not only for his service in war, but for his strength and dignity in the face of injustice. Officer Bradley was placed on administrative leave, then quietly dismissed weeks later after the internal investigation confirmed a pattern of racial profiling. Marcus, on the other hand, found himself thrust into the spotlight. Students invited him to speak at schools. Local organizations asked him to share his story. Though he preferred a quiet life, he agreed because he knew the message mattered. "I don't want your pity," he told one audience. "I want change. I want a generation that doesn't have to show medals to prove their worth. A uniform shouldn't be required for dignity. Our humanity should be enough." The crowd stood in thunderous applause. One evening, as Marcus sat on his porch, a young boy from the neighborhood approached. "Mr. Turner?" the boy asked shyly. "Is it true you got a medal?" Marcus smiled gently. "Yes, but that medal doesn't make me better than anyone else. What matters is how you treat people." The boy nodded, then asked, "Are you still mad at that cop?" Marcus paused. "I'm not mad. I'm tired. Tired of fighting battles at home after fighting them overseas. But if my story helps make things better for you, then it was worth it." The boy grinned and ran off. Marcus leaned back in his chair, the weight of the day still on his shoulders, but his heart steady. He had fought wars abroad. Now he was fighting one at home. And this time, he wasn't fighting alone. Respect should not be earned through medals or titles. It should be given to every person, equally, without prejudice.